afternoon. Carousel Technology would like to welcome you to our Virtual Collaboration Bootcamp webinar series, Basic Training, Get Started Using DCO. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. Audio can be heard today through your computer speakers. We hope you take full advantage of the Q&A pod on the left side of your screen to ask any questions you have for the presenters. We will do our best to answer all of your questions at the end of the presentation. If for some reason we do not get to your questions, our team will certainly follow up with you offline. To tell you a little bit about Caresoft, we are a trusted government IT solutions provider, delivering software and support. Our contact information will be at the end of the presentation, so please don't hesitate to call or email. This webinar is also Aaron, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Sam. Greetings, everyone. We're going to talk about some of the basics of Defense Connect Online, some of the you could be conducting your trainings or your virtual we'll talk about prepping and setting up your Connect room so you can away just to save some bandwidth. If you have any questions at any time, obviously type questions I would like to start off with. Let me just throw these out here. And here. The second one, I have attended a DCO Connect session before, not including this one, I should say. Okay, but the results are basically you need to do in order to register, and then we'll get on to showing. One in three people here, this is their first session of DCO, so let's hopefully we'll make right now. You should be seeing my webpage. On both platforms being Mac and Windows. If you're actually curious, if you actually click on the DCO logo, this right down here at the bottom where it says create an account with CAC. That's the kind of thing. It usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes. If not as important, more important, is the password. The password is very, very whatever your password is, note it, because especially if you're going to use the chat client. Outlook is I put a reminder for myself every 58. Definitely note your password there. See, the CAC is going to be the quickest way because you just click sign in. To sign an email or whatever it happens to be. We'll see here if it's going to ask. Okay, and it's going to log me in. Okay, well, we'll just. So this is the DCO portal. For quickly tour here. Anytime you can hack into the portal and change your password by coming up to is good for. So for the meetings, we're going to come in here to create a quick down, or we can come and click on the big blue button right here. Either way is fine. If you're having trouble seeing, you might want to click the full screen button, which is at the top. This interface that you see right here, and that's the meeting name. You have to give your meeting is. It's just more than just meeting names, but it says personalize this room URL. You have two options. You can leave it memorize. It's this extension. Because each room has a unique, specific URL. Letters and numbers. So what we typically like to do is just say, hey, I'm going to remove the spaces. now it's one complete entity. It will work for URL extension. Okay, room. That wouldn't work because that number there. Group one there. That's the only time and the only. For an hour, some you want for as many times as you want. System will not delete them, provided you use. There are some benefits to putting a daytime group. So if this is your first time, at a later point in time to actually create my rooms. For this demonstration, the make public option. So this is a, if you click make, any DCO user can come into that room whenever. And we'll show you one at the end. Our custom policy. So to realize, if your room is public, I'm going to click next. You manage the meeting. This is where you let people know exactly where Keating, Ashley. I would say I want Ashley to be one of my co-hosts. I know the one I want is Keating at adobe.com. I'm going to other people, so Merck. You have to have a DCO account for it to find our presenters. The next thing about that is internet broke down, whatever it happens to be, I can be like, with the football, if you know what I mean. Notice right here, there's the URL right there, fake test connector. To let people know Friday at 2, next Monday at 1, whatever it happens to be. The Adobe Connect add-in for but the bottom line has been the what you're going to get. What we're going to do is basically set you up with a layout exactly what you need to conduct. Notice you're going to get on the screen. So if you look on the very far right of this, the order in you can click on it. So it doesn't have to be arranged differently part of the layout. So they are tiled so that if notice right this because of that tiling effect. Sometimes that can layout right here. You can kind of see that there's if you're wondering where did the pod go, sometimes it's notice the little red circle X. I'm just clicking. Remove all of them. I'm going to hide them from the stage. I'm just basically removing it from the to get your training up and done. So the way that's actually broadcasting through Here at the top, you actually see three little microphone. I might actually. If you were actually inside that room, you'd actually be hearing my voice much like you are So I'm basically just wearing a USB headset. It's wired. Now with my webcam on, you're actually able to see me too. I'm going to move that away. Colleagues do every single time we come into a connect room, even though we've been doing these literally hundreds, if not. We'll know with almost certainty whether or not, yes. Especially if you have, by chance, a laptop. A lot of laptops have of some sort. If the That's why the audio setup wizard is very, very important, because I can actually my wireless one. I could use the one in. Where you're going to make all your money. You can actually test your microphone. So that I would know, yep, exactly my. Adjust for any silence or how loud or noisy. So that's why it's very, very important to install. Some organizations simply don't either have them or don't. Extend the size of the webcam. Five people having their webcams on, and the pod was this. One of the nice things. Because I haven't clicked the start sharing feature yet. If I click on that, I want to fix my background because this is what you want to see, and then we go boom, and let's say we're going to have 5 people in our training. meetings, your whatever happens to be using DCO is something we call the share pod. And they can be shaped however we want to. So and right here, it's just totally personal preference on what presentation in here. We're going to have we want to have the 5 people. And one of the easiest ways in fact, instead of PDF, just a PDF. Basically, what I'm going to do, if it's a PDF or a it's going to get loaded automatically. So what it's basically doing is converting it to a flash so it'll actually work. We've shown that we can turn on the webcam so they actually turn on the little pointer right here and be like, okay, well, welcome everyone. My name's Aaron. The little arrow is going with me. Let's say maybe I want to we're going to be talking about Adobe Connect 9, and training. And basically, all I'm doing is just with the mouse isn't the most pleasurable thing because it's a be like there's a star. You can actually mark up your document. Boom, everything goes away. Bring it back, bring back the draw. Thing to do. By using the whiteboard overlay. Fit page or fit width if I wanted to, depending on here. What it allows us to do. If I take off the sync button, I could be like, okay, guys, 10 minutes. turn that off. They'll have the ability that these controls will the host. So if I am the host of and drop, that's obviously one way to get you can actually find the file that way. Now, kind of spreadsheets, can those be so what has to be done in that instance is something I'm doing exactly right now with you guys. Document. Maybe fire up a Word document. This SOP, SOPs are largely written in Word. So here's the Word document. So that's how it would be. Well, it's like you're seeing, right? So there's the Word document. Same time amongst your colleagues. You'd actually want to leave them in their native PDF back. We'd want a way for the audience so you've got your when we first got into this Connect room. That's probably the easiest way to DCO, and especially if you're brand new to DCO, I suggest just starting simple. You got some nice features about the chatbot, so you can actually export it to your email address, and it's our chat to see exactly who was in there, and maybe and scan it and actually see it and save it too. It might be super it. So probably the most important thing I can say about the chatbot is never ever delete in the email filters of enterprise email, you may have to come in here and copy it. What you can do, obviously this might not be the best solution depending on your organization, is you can go in your DCO profile and change that email address. And the nature of your organization, whether or not you want that email. The important thing is do not delete it until you have it somewhere else, because once it's gone, it's gone. It cannot be retrieved back. We've had a couple of for good. You need essentially to get up and running using to conduct a first training using DCO. You've got your share pod to share the content. You've got your chat pod so that people can communicate back and forth with you. You've got the ability to communicate with your microphones. If you have a webcam and you want to use it, you can actually turn it on and use it that way. Totally optional, depends on the organization. But this right here, this is a good starting point that I say. Start with this. Start doing your trainings just using the simples, and then we can always build on what we've just learned right here, if that makes sense. One of the things we could do when we build on that is create what we call the lobby layout. So the lobby layout is the very first thing that you guys saw when you came in here. It's kind of a way to welcome the people into your room, so they have we had the title slide. We had a little chat pod, a little music, so you wouldn't be bored, and the video, and we had the countdown timer. The way we create a new layout is we come up to the layouts bar, right here, the layout menu, I should say, and say create a new layout. Now what I can do is I can say create a blank one, or I can copy a new one. Since I want to create a lobby layout, I don't want it to be exactly like this one. I'm just going to create a blank one. And again, the order over here on the far right, the layout bar, is immaterial, but my OCD kicks in sometimes, so I usually put the lobby one up at the top. Again, it really doesn't matter. And I can actually rename these by double-clicking on them, so I would say lobby and say that's content. So I'm going to click on lobby. So I'm actually on the lobby layout. I know I'm on the lobby layout because over here on the layout bar, the lobby one is the one that's in blue. So let's say I want to bring in like the countdown timer. And the countdown timer, what I'm about to show you, is one we can actually show you where to get. In fact, at our conclusion slide, our layout will actually give you the link to where you can go get these custom pods. So custom pods right here. Green countdown. There we go. Again, I'm going to use the drag and drop feature of how smooth this is. Boom. I can come down here and I can bring in a chat feature. I can bring in a chat and so forth. I could personalize this kind of as a welcoming place before the actual presentation begins. If I wanted to, by going to the meeting menu preferences, I can actually come in here and change the background up here. The default is this grayish charcoal. If I wanted to, I can actually change to something else. Stuff, custom pod, underwater background. It can be any kind of picture format for your background, or the one I have right here that you're about to see is the same one that in the room that we're in. To me, it's The thing I like about this background is you can't mess it up because it's not. Sometimes when I would upload a picture, it would get distorted or shrinked or pulled. Be good to go if in fact you wanted to actually work on having a lobby layout. If you're interested in showing in these custom pods and this background that you're seeing right here, we'll actually show you here in a few seconds when we switch to a different layout where you can actually get all this stuff. But that's basically the concept of the lobby layout. It's just to come in here and kind of create a welcoming space for your guests before the actual meeting begins. But the bottom line is just to begin starting training, you've got your share pod. Get in there, you can get familiar with it, and then we can build on doing some more of the fancier stuff, bringing in the different layouts, bringing in the different types of content, and that kind of thing. But this is just a good place to start, I think, if there's any questions. I'm going to quickly scan here, see if there's any questions. Assuming. It seems like my colleagues are doing an awesome job answering the question. How should I do that? We'll have our contact information. Mine, again, if you click on this virtual business card up here in the upper left, if you click on that, it'll actually pre-populate an email. Or something. We'll be more than happy to sit down with you and kind of like walk with you through the process. It definitely